Okay.
Hey guys, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner. And the film that we'll be discussing today is Maggie, which came out May 8th of 2015 and was directed by Henry Hobson and written by John Scott III, and has Arnold Schwarzenegger and Abigail Breslin and Jolie Richardson for some of the cast. And a teenage girl in the Midwest becomes infected by an outbreak of a disease that slowly turns the infected into cannibalistic zombies. During her transformation, her loving father stays by her side. Now, I must say up front, this is not your typical Arnold Schwarzenegger film. It's a very, very slow, slower paced film, a slow burn. And he really gives a good performance. He is the father, Wade, to Abigail's character, Maggie. And he really pulls in a good performance of being the dad who's respected by the doctor and by the cops and everything. You don't really find out what he's done in the past, which was good. But it's not heavily action oriented. It's really focused between his character and Maggie, his daughter, because she gets infected by this virus. And thing about this is it's a little different from some of the other zombie films that we've seen. For one, there's not many zombies in it. They're not showcased that much. It's much more about the transformation process, which does happen over a long period of time. So, and this is more like it's just been introduced than in when it's fully emerged on people. So they have these quarantines that they take people in, and you hear some stories about how that could be, but it's one of those things where these people are feared and all that, and obviously rightly so, but there's a lot more kind of despair. But it's it's different from, say, The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, you have these characters that they've already been in this kind of world, and so they're growing a bit accustomed to it and what they have to do and everything, and it's a whole thing about survival. This is much more of a character piece that's just about them trying to make it through this, this virus that there's really nothing that they can do for it. And to have Arnold Schwarzenegger come in as Wade, as the father to Maggie, and to have their kind of relationship being the focus of the film and everything, it works really well. And you have Jolie Richardson come in as Carolyn, she's the stepmother to Maggie, and so and she has two kids of her own with Wade. So it really is a character piece. It's very slow moving. Like I said, if you're going to it for action, you're not going to get that much of it. There's a few small moments, but it's really not that type of movie at all. I think the characters themselves were done really well, and I like the setting. It has, it's presented as a spectacle. It's a bit of a darker tone, which is fitting, but there's some nice visual styles that they do with this. And like I said, the virus does work a little differently than you see from other films or shows. So you got to take that in mind with it. If you're a huge fan for zombies, this really isn't that type of movie at all. I mean, you might appreciate some of it, and it's interesting. I think some of the more flaws in it for me is that the pace does carry on a bit too slow at times. It's a 95-minute movie, so it's not incredibly long, but it feels like it's really long, and it feels like it's really weighted down, which and there's not too many characters in it. There's a couple of characters that were brought in, and then they just kind of disappear, and they don't have as much growth to them as I would have liked, particularly because of what roles they play. Visually, there's some really good moments in the film. However, there was one thing that was a very slow build-up with a fox out in the woods. I had no idea where that was going, and when it finally ended up going, it went the route, and it actually carried through. I was like, okay, that felt like most of that was just entirely unnecessary. I don't know why they built that up so much, but aside from that, it is a good film. I did enjoy it, and I do recommend checking it out, and particularly just because of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Abigail. They just deliver really good performances, and it was a nice surprise to see Schwarzenegger deliver that after some of his more recent movies where he's really kind of phoned it in a bit. So anyway, writing this movie, I'll go ahead and give it a 6 out of 10. Like I said, it's a good film. It's definitely got some flaws to it. It did feel like it was overly long, which was surprising given the actual length of the movie. And there was a few minor character flaws that I just wish were fleshed out better. A few scenes that didn't quite work for me, but overall, I do think it's a good movie, and I do recommend checking it out. So anyway, guys, that's my opinion on it, but what did you think? Have you seen the movie, and what's your thought on it? What would you rate it? And just for the sake of fun here, what is your favorite movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it? Go ahead and comment below and let me know, and hopefully you enjoy this vid. Click that like button, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. Watch my other videos and give me your opinions. I really like hearing from you guys. But anyway, that'll wrap this up, so until next time, peace.